Next question. Why is fluoride the one supplement we mass medicate with, and what are the potential benefits and harms, especially for babies? So again, we could go forever. And in fact, I have done enough just literature review on this that this is now my, I don't know if you get these, but I get like weekly updates from the Princeton Library about new papers that I might be interested in. And like fully half of them are about the risks of fluoridation in water supplies and to salmon and to like, to just everything. So,
Yes.
yeah, why, how, but the question at some level is, well, there's 3 different questions here, and this could fill many, many hours, but I don't actually know the history. Actually, my DO knows some of this history.
It's preposterous.
Of how it is that we came. Oh, wait, it's industrial waste or something, isn't it? Okay,
Yeah,
you tell the story.
Well, I don't know it well.
Yeah.
I should dig deeper, but
Yeah.
basically it's an industrial byproduct.
Yeah.
And
Not all fluoride. Like fluoride's an element.
Well-
Fluorine is an element.
yes, but okay.
Right?
So first of all, fluorine is
The element.
highly caustic element.
Yeah.
So we're talking about fluoride salts, but there's also an interesting nuance here where, if I recall correctly, the evidence, which is weaker than you would imagine, for fluoride's benefits is actually a different salt than fluoridation.
There it is.
Right.
Yeah. No, and it's actually like, so it seems pretty good that, so you end up with, there's the early work that caused the fluoridation to start happening in municipal water supplies actually I think seems pretty good, but the fact that it's a different form of fluoride than what is now being put into the water supplies is the big crazy part of the story that we're sort of not talking about now.
I wish we had the names of the 2 salts at our fingertips, but it's been too long. But in any case, it is insane to medicate this way, because there's no controlling for who drinks how much water. Right. So this would be an insane way to go about this process, even if this were justified. But as I recall, the evidence is far weaker than it should be. And there's evidence that conflicts with it, where you see the same increase in bone strength and teeth durability in populations that didn't fluoridate their water. Mm-hmm. But anyway,
what about fluoride toothpaste? I think the fluoride in toothpaste is the same stuff that's put in the municipal water supplies, right? It's also the wrong fluoride salt.
Yeah.
I think.
Again, I don't want to reverse the 2 salts. But in any case, this is not, however, the only case. And in fact, I believe the evidence in the other case where we do this is actually that it is positive and worthwhile.
What's that?
Iodine in salt. So iodine in salt.
It's interesting you say that, because I don't buy us iodized salt at this point.
And I don't complain about it, because we get enough of this stuff in interacting with the world. There's enough iodine. The basic point is you're trying to hedge out a deficiency.
Yeah.
And there's no value to it above that, as far as we know. But the deficiency is very serious.
But I mean, it's also possible to have too much, no?
Yes.
Short term.
Right.
I remember this.
One wants to find a happy medium. And my sense is we're getting enough iodine just by virtue of the fact that we, go out to eat occasionally, and, there's salt in everything. What?
Not anymore.
Well, that's true. And actually, maybe that should alter behavior. But my sense is that the iodizing of salt solved major issues where it was done.
I don't remember where iodine comes into the diet naturally. I feel like it might be one of these things that's in trace amounts in things like dark leafy greens and meat.
I believe that's right.
Yeah. Red meat.
But in any case, I think the fluoridation story and the iodine story go in opposite directions. Now, no doubt there is a less crude way, because the iodine issue has exactly the same problem as the fluoride issue, which is that depending upon how much salt you eat, this could have very different effects.
Yeah.
And so it's not a good way of medicating, because there's no way to titrate it.
Yeah. Incidentally, so Melinda here writes, I find it frustrating that opposing the mass fluoridation of water is considered so fringe. This is one of the places where, Portland, the populace of Portland, that, cannot figure out how to get our government to stop the assaults on businesses and such that are still happening, apparently still happening in the Pearl District last night. However, have kept fluoridation out of our water supply.
They did, and I don't know if you recall this, but actually,
this happened before we moved here, is why I refer to it as
long before, eons
or
before.
Like it's sort of settled now. Like, and it's always an attempt. I guess it will come back, but it's pretty established. That, like, no, Portland is not going to fluoridate the water supply.
Portland will not fluoridate its water.
Yeah,
like Olympia. Now, here's the.
I didn't even know. But we were on a well in Olympia, so I didn't pay attention.
Olympia didn't fluoridate either, and you know why? Because evergreen faculty got in the way of it. So this is actually a really interesting case where the thing that went crazy started out not so crazy, or at least is not crazy on different topics.
Many of the same people.
Yeah. Right. So anyway, I think, you know, as is so often the case, there's a story to be told here about, you know, where one sees. I mean, look, most of our faculty colleagues were crazy, but those were several generations down the road of faculty. They were only the tiniest number of founders still at the college when we got there. And, you know,
none of the founders that we knew or knew by reputation were crazy.
No.
They were all terrific.
They were great. The founders and the few people who were hired in the first few years of the college, not founders.
And I think you know, Mike Bugh, who was a chemist.
Yeah.
I at least never talked to him about fluoridation, but I imagine that he was opposed to fluoridation.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
100%.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah.
And, you know, so anyway, we knew some of these people, the handful of people from the very early years of the college were eccentric, but not crazy. And the, anyway, their early opposition was the reason that Olympia didn't fluoridate.
Someone asks, I have a well, so I don't have fluoride in my drinking water. What effect does not getting fluoride get? So, you know, the only thing that fluoride is supposedly doing is
strengthening bones and teeth.
Yeah, and not in the form that it is in toothpaste and
water,
municipal water. Sorry, I'm stalled out. So yeah, like, you know, how are we supposed to get it? Well, I don't know. I actually, with fluoride, I don't know. Like
Well, I have very little doubt that the answer is if you eat a diet that is.
I feel like this is it. Yeah.
Natural.
But so, like, I mean, we stopped using fluoridated toothpaste certainly for our kids, because kids are more likely to swallow the stuff. And for us years ago, and, you know, much to the chagrin of our dentists, when we tell them.
Yeah. So
cereal has everything added, right? It's like a multivitamin with some grains.
Claire Seguin, who I read as Carl Sagan, suggested seafood and seaweed has it.
Totally.
Now, here's the thing. We've stopped eating seafood out of the Pacific, which is a huge loss to us because of all of the radionucleides that were spilled into the Pacific after Fukushima, which have made their way into at least tuna and salmon at alarming levels, at least. Yeah. So these things are the data is not easily available now. But right after Fukushima happened, this stuff was measured, and the levels were they weren't high in any fish, but the frequency that they were found in tuna was 100%, I
widespread.
believe.
Yeah.
And it was very common in salmon. And so anyway, we, on the advice of Arnie Gunderson, stopped eating Pacific seafood, and without data, we haven't gone back to it. There's actually very little reason to think those levels will have dropped because the half-lives of the important radionuclides are very long, not super long, but 30 years. So anyway, yes, eating seafood would be a great way to deal with it, but we're now in a pickle, which is that all of our seafood comes out of the Pacific, and we don't consider that safe enough because of the strontium and cesium that was lost into the Pacific.
Yeah. Yes, an excess of fluoride turns your teeth brown. That is actually, if I remember correctly, how it was, how the original fluoridation was understood to be helping. That some town in Colorado, I think, happened to have a lot of fluoride in the drinking water from underground sources. I don't remember the specifics. And so some dentist was just seeing a lot of people with brown teeth, but also with fewer cavities. Sort of noticed that as an after effect. I went like, maybe brownness and no cavities is correlated, and tracked it back to the fluoride. That salt of fluoride that was actually both protective against cavities and tended to de-whiten your teeth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey guys, that was a clip from our monthly private Q&A that you can get access to at my Heather Hying's Patreon. And you can also get access there to all of the past paid subscriber content. So please consider joining us there.
Did you mention that these private Q&As are the key to living a better life and living to tell the tale?
I forgot to do that. These private Q&As are in fact the key to living a better life and what?
Living to tell the tale.
Living to tell the tale. Go ahead, live to tell the tale. Join us there.
See ya.